Today we're going to talk about our planet Earth and how do we determine where we are on planet Earth. I've pre-drawn here our blue planet. In green I have pre-drawn our equator, and then I have pre-drawn these two blue lines here, which I'll explain a little later, which also help us show that the Earth is more like a sphere and not just a circle. We're now going to draw a little what is called a compass rose, which help us determine where north is and where all the various directions are. So let's say that this is north. Let's say that this is south. And then we're going to do east and west like that. So we'll do here. Do a little very simple compass rose. We're going to put some letters here. So we're going to say that this is north, this is south, with all these dots here, this is west, and this is east. Okay, now two words that we need to be familiar with when we talk about location on the Earth are latitude and longitude. So we're going to write those words here right now. Latitude. And the next word is longitude. Longitude. So latitude tells us how far north or south we are from the equator. Longitude, on the other end, tells us how far east or west we are from a predetermined another imaginary line, which is this blue solid line, which we called the prime meridian, and we'll get to that in a minute. So, to help us determine our position on the Earth, scientists have imagined to divide our Earth in little areas. So, what they have done, if they had said, okay, we have divided between the area between the equator and the North Pole here into 90 degrees, and then the area between the equator and the South Pole into 90 degrees also. So these are going to be the degrees north, and these are going to be the degrees south. So we're going to draw here some other imaginary lines. Of course, they go all around, so we're going to trace them on the other side, since again these are just imaginary lines, right? So we're going to say, draw a few of those. And these lines are all parallel with each other, they don't meet. So as the more we move north, so if we are on this line, we can say, for example, there we are about at 20 degrees north. 20 degrees north. When we are here, we're probably about 45 degrees north. And we keep going up until we reach the North Pole, which is located up there at 90 degrees north. So all the lines, all the points on this line around the Earth are all points that are located at 20 degrees north. And all the points on this line around the Earth are located at 45 degrees north. Similarly, we can imagine there are lines under the equator. Here we go. And of course, on the other side, they reconnect. And then we have a line here. Oops, that doesn't look very. Okay, to give it a sense of a circle. Alright, so if we use the same idea up there, all the points on this line here are going to be located at about, let's say, 45 degrees, which is this circle here on top. south. And the South Pole, you probably guessed it, is going to be located at 90 degrees south. So what happens now? Well, first of all, we have some lines that have a specific name. So for example, there is a line here, which I'm not going to draw because it's too close to 20, but at 22.5, there is a line that is called the Tropic of Cancer. And another important line is located at 66.5 degrees north, and that's the Arctic Circle. South of the equator, we have a line at 22.5 degrees south, about, and that's called Tropic of Capricorn. And then we have a line at about 66.5 degrees south, about here, and that's called Antarctic Circles. These lines have gotten specific names for simplicity, so that it's easier to say, for example, that a country is located north of the Tropic of Cancer or south of the Tropic of Capricorn, and so on. Now, if all the points on this line are all at 45 degrees north, that's not enough to tell me where certain places. I need also to know how far that point that I'm looking for is from what we call the prime meridian. I'm going to write down prime meridian here so that we remember that word. So I'm talking about the prime meridian. And the prime meridian is a line, that imaginary line, that passes through an observatory near London, England, which is called Greenwich, England, and then it goes all the way north to the North Pole, and then it goes all the way south to the South Pole, crossing, for example, through France and Spain and some other country in Africa before. Okay, so now, so what happens is we need to tell, the scientists also imagine that there are other lines that go north to south, and they all meet in the North Pole and the South Pole. These are the line of longitude. And so those lines are going to be, for example, like that. A very good draw here. Oops, let's try again. And then there's going to be, of course, line on the opposite side. Now it's going to get really interesting here to draw too many lines. So one line there, then we're going to have one line here, for example. Let's see here if we can do it. And then I'm not going to draw it on the opposite side just because it gets too messy otherwise. And one here. Okay, so let's say, and so scientists have divided the Earth into 360 degrees of longitude. There is 180 degrees of longitude west, and those are all the points that are located west of the prime meridian again, and go all the way to the line at the back that meets the prime meridian, and that's called the international date line. So there's 180 degrees west of longitude. See, going west like, going west like our compass rose here was going west. On the other end, if a point on the Earth is located on the other side of the prime meridian, there would be a point is located longitude east. So all the points located on this side of the prime meridian are going to be on degrees east. And there are 180 degrees east on the prime meridian, again all the way to the international date line on the other side. So as you can see, if you draw all these lines, 90 lines of latitude north, 90 lines of latitude south, the green ones, and then 180 lines of longitude west, the blue ones here, and 180 lines of longitude east on this side here, we're going to have a grid. The Earth is going to be divided in a grid. And that, what can we say that, for example, of a point that is located right here? We can say that this point is going to be located at 45 degrees north, See that? And about, let's say, 10, 20, about 20 degrees west. So the position of that point would be written as 45 north. Ooh, not very good end there. Let's try again with the end. 45 degrees north and 20 degrees west. On the other end, a point, for example, that is located here is going to be at about 20 degrees south. We are south of the equator here, and about 60 degrees east. So here is an interesting thing that you can try and do is locate the coordinates. These are called coordinates of the place where you live. So what are the latitude and the longitude of the location where you live? The first number is the latitude, north or south. The second number is the longitude, east or west. So longitude, that's right here, indicates east or west with respect to the prime meridian, and latitude indicates north or south of the equator.